Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is a public hearing on Expedited Bill 821, Administration, Department of Technology Services, renamed. This bill would rename the existing Department of Technology Services to the Department of Technology and Enterprise Business Solutions and generally amend the law concerning the Department of Technology and Enterprise Business Solutions. A GEO committee work session will be scheduled at a future date, and persons wishing to submit additional material for the council's consideration should do so before the close of business on March 23rd. If you'd like to follow the progress of a council bill, the council website has a subscribe function. You can go there and use the view council records and legislative updates link to learn how. Ms. Kennedy, could you introduce the speakers for this public hearing, please?
Yes, we have one speaker for this public hearing, and that's Gail Roper. Ms. Roper, you have 2 minutes and you may begin when you're ready.
Welcome, Ms. Roper.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Council President Hucker and council persons. The Department of Technology Services is requesting a name change to the Department of Technology and Enterprise Business Solutions, TBS. The organization has historically been an internally focused organization that responds to work requests from county departments. With your support over the last 11 months, the restructuring of DTS has allowed the department to take more of a consultative role with county departments to enhance and re-engineer outdated business processes before applying technology solutions. In evolving the focus of the organization, the resident becomes part of the new strategy. We understand the role that technology plays in the goal to gain equity in community services. This shift in our service portfolio requires new measures for both the staff and the departmental outcomes. The value proposition must be more significant to the taxpayers, business, operations, and those that do business with the county. We know that we're a government entity, but we also know there are very valuable business strategies that are being adopted to improve how we work. We're focused on enhancing the value of our assets for public consumption to solve community challenges and access to information. And I'll give you just a few examples. We have a strategy to address the decade-long issue of broadband accessibility and affordability. The department has embraced entrepreneurial thinking to bring public-private partnerships and advanced technology solutions to expand our FiberNet 3 infrastructure asset to impact the digital divide. We have collaborated with SpaceX, Starlink, Elon Musk high-speed satellite broadband service, which is opening their service market to the agricultural reserve in the next few months. And we provided improvements to customer service within the 311 call center to re-engineer business processes and implement a chatbot on the 311 website that provides residents with an on-demand answer to the most frequently asked questions. As a result of these efforts, the abandon rate and the 311 call center decreased from 26% in November to 3% in February.
Pardon me, Ms. Roper. Ms. Roper, I'm so sorry for the interruption. Your time is up. Thank you so much for your testimony. Thank you. That's all for this public hearing.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Roper. Thank you, Ms. Kennedy. This public hearing is now closed. The next public hearing is on Bill 921, Streets and Roads, Sidewalk Snow Removal Amendments. This bill would define certain terms relating to sidewalks, establish an exception to the requirements for removal of snow and ice on private property, require removal of snow and ice by the county from certain sidewalks and paths, and generally amend the law concerning the removal of snow and ice from certain sidewalks and paths in the county. A T&E committee work session will be scheduled at a future date, and persons wishing to submit additional material for the council consideration should do so before the close of business on March 23rd. Ms. Kennedy, could you introduce the speakers for this public hearing, please?
Certainly. The first speaker for this public hearing is Hannah Henn. Ms. Henn, you have 2 minutes and you may begin your testimony when you're ready.
Good afternoon, Council President Hucker and members of the Council. I'm Hannah Henn, Deputy Director for Policy for the Department of Transportation. I'm here today to testify on behalf of County Executive Mark Elrich on Bill 9-21. The County Executive supports the underlying objective of ensuring that sidewalks are cleared during and after snow and ice events to improve pedestrian safety. Therefore, the focus of my testimony is to provide information for consideration and potential modifications. The bill picks winners and losers by specifying geographic limits at a moment in time. It is not clear how or why these routes were selected compared to other potential areas. The language should be modified to define circumstances that call for county snow removal so that we can incorporate areas based on identified characteristics. This approach would allow location adjustments in the future without requiring a code revision process. For example, if the upcoming ride-on route restructuring study relocates bus stops, sidewalk snow clearing locations should be adjusted as well. We anticipate confusion among property owners because of the differential services proposed. Education and outreach will be necessary. We have attached legal analysis that includes suggested clarifications for language in the bill. While Vision Zero philosophy calls for a proactive approach, the county is focused on data-driven investments to maximize safety benefits. Prioritizing sidewalk clearing may detract from the initiatives with a stronger relationship to pedestrian safety every day of the year. Sidewalk clearing by the Department of Transportation is a contracted operation, so we can increase coverage. Expansion will require a significant increase in cost to the county and likely prompt requests for further expansion. Rather than expand county responsibilities to maintain state right-of-way, long-term, we would encourage you to advocate for the state to be accountable and provide safe infrastructure for all roadway users. Alternative or complementary approaches might include a self-sustaining sidewalk snow removal program similar to the leaf collection, or a volunteer or student service hours program potentially offering broader benefits and flexibility. Thank you, and we welcome the opportunity to discuss these concepts in more detail in committee.
Thank you for your testimony. Our next speaker is Shruti Bhatnagar. Ms. Bhatnagar, you have 2 minutes and you may begin when you're ready.
Good afternoon, Council President Tucker and members of the Montgomery County Council.
Good afternoon.
Just one second, thank you. Good afternoon, Council President Tucker and members of the Montgomery County Council. My name is Shruti Bhatnagar. I'm chair of the Sierra Club Montgomery County Group. The Sierra Club Montgomery County supports Council Member Evan Glass's, I'm sorry, I'm having some technical problem here. All right. Sierra Club Montgomery County Group supports Council Member Evan Glass's Bill 921, Streets and Roads Sidewalk Snow Removal, amendments which proposes that for all snowfall events exceeding 3 inches, the county clears sidewalks along an additional 19 major traffic arteries. This bill is aligned with Sierra Club's priority and Montgomery County's Vision Zero goal for pedestrian safety. Snow days are a privilege not afforded to most people who work essential jobs, most of whom use transit to report to work. As county plows diligently clear roadways to allow cars and buses to safely pass, they unfortunately create new hazards in the large piles of compacted snow and ice they deposit onto adjacent sidewalks. In our focus to provide safe roads for cars and buses, we have ignored and made more unsafe the access to those buses for pedestrians. We need our actions to match our words and provide equitable services for all county residents, irrespective of their mode of mobility. Today, MC.DOT clears sidewalks in urban districts and about 60 miles of sidewalks outside these areas during heavy snowstorms. This bill would add approximately 40 more miles of sidewalks. As an example, the 2 longest proposed corridors are heavily used transit routes mentioned in our written testimony and include Randolph Road and Old Georgetown Road. Investing in safety of pedestrians is important for the county's Vision Zero goals. These kinds of snow events have not been that frequent, and the snow clearing work could be contracted out for cost effectiveness. The written testimony submitted by Sierra Club includes for reference a chart that shows the heaviest DC snowfall over the past 10 years. Snow on the sidewalks is a hindrance to pedestrians and people with disabilities and seniors for whom accessibility may be more challenging, putting their safety at a greatest risk. For purposes of equity, supporting Vision Zero goals.
Pardon me, Ms. Bhatnagar, I'm so sorry, your time is up, but thank you for your testimony. Our next speaker is Allison Gillespie. Ms. Gillespie, you have 2 minutes. You may begin your testimony when you're ready.
Thanks for giving me the chance to speak today in support of this proposal. Although I volunteer for many organizations, today I'm speaking to you as an individual. This bill is great, and I'm glad Councilmember Glass introduced it. In the winter, plows make their way along the big arterial roads and push snow up on top of sidewalks. The snow and ice then form literal barriers to getting around, and those piles often last for weeks or sometimes even months. We need to stop treating our sidewalks as storage facilities for snow and start treating them as important links in our transportation network. They are true arteries, just as the streets they flank. If you're going to take a bus or train to work, as I do, you must be able to get to the stop safely every single day, all day and night. All too often, snow makes this impossible or even dangerous. People are forced to walk in lanes alongside of cars on University Boulevard and Georgia Avenue in Wheaton with terrifying regularity. It is not unusual to see groups waiting for the bus while standing in icy lanes of oncoming traffic simply because they can't get to the actual bus stop. I have seen people waiting for buses on top of slippery piles of snow that are 3 feet tall. It is all incredibly dangerous. This is true when there's only a small amount of snow, but much, much worse when the snow is deep and heavy. It is a particular hardship for those with physical disabilities. I have seen wheelchair users using traffic lanes in the middle of snowstorms when snow is falling and visibility is low. People who are blind often depend on sidewalks and often encounter snow in unexpected locations, making their route to work difficult or even impossible. People who depend on curb cuts and wide paths cannot make their way. This is a shameful mismanagement of public infrastructure, and the disabled community, and in fact our entire community, deserves better. All of us, including those with disabilities, need to get to work, to visit families, and to be able to go shopping. We should not need to own a car in this county simply because of snow. We have made the transit investment, and now we're starting to increase and improve our sidewalks. Now we must do the maintenance that makes them both reliable and viable. Sidewalks shouldn't be a fair weather only option. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. Our next speaker is Christy Daphnis. Ms. Daphnis, you have 2 minutes and you may begin whenever you're ready.
Hi, I'm seeing you. Can you hear me?
We can.
Great, thank you so much. I was having some technical difficulties.
No worries.
Thank you so much for allowing me the opportunity to testify today in support of this bill. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate Councilmember Glass for introducing it. This is a really important bill. It only comes up a few times a year, but when it does come up, it's a huge problem. As Allison and Shruti and others noted, the snow piles up on the side of the streets, and it is a huge social equity and racial justice issue, as noted in the accompanying documentation that was sent as part of the OLO review of this bill. I also live in Wheaton. I see this every winter as people try to navigate our streets, and this is a problem that's easily solved. I do understand the Department of Transportation's concerns with the bill. I would note that the corridors that were selected were based on, at least loosely based on, the MCOG racial, the equity emphasis areas, and I think that's important. While I think there should be some flexibility there, and you may not want to put it directly into the bill specifically, that should drive where the Department of Transportation is focusing its efforts. And to rely on, student volunteers to clear snow, it's just not a sustainable model. This is something we need to build into our county services and infrastructure so that we can provide safe and equitable access to public transit in our walkways. So thank you for that. I will be submitting some written testimony later. I just didn't get a chance to get it to you all, so I appreciate this chance to just walk through that today. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. Our next speaker is Jane Lyons. Ms. Lyons, you may begin your testimony whenever you're ready. You have 2 minutes.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you for the opportunity to provide testimony. My name is Jane Lyons, and I'm speaking on behalf of the Coalition for Smarter Growth. I don't have too much to say that others haven't already said better than me already, but I will say that by clearing snow from streets, but leaving sidewalks to private property owners, the county sends a really clear message that pedestrians aren't a priority. And snowy, icy sidewalks make the county's most dangerous sidewalks along major arterial roads even more dangerous, especially when snow removal from roads builds up onto those sidewalks. And this is a very striking message to send to pedestrians while also saying that the county is trying to work towards Vision Zero. So as has been mentioned, Montgomery County already clears sidewalks in urban districts and approximately 60 miles of other sidewalks. And so we urge you to add those sidewalks identified in Bill 921 to that portfolio. We think that equity emphasis areas are the right place to start, but we would like to see this eventually applied countywide because we believe that sidewalks are not private property. They are public space, and that should be publicly maintained in the same way that roads are maintained. So thank you very much for your consideration of this legislation.
Thank you for your testimony. Mr. President, that wraps up the speakers for this public hearing.
Thank you so much to all our speakers. Thank you, Ms. Kennedy. The public hearing is now closed. The next public hearing is on adoption of the Comprehensive Solid Waste Management Plan 2020 to 2019. A T&E committee work session will be tentatively scheduled for March 22nd. Welcome Mayor Newton and all the speakers. Ms. Kennedy, could you introduce the next speaker?
Yes, I sure can. The first speaker for this public hearing is Mayor Bridget Donald Newton. Mayor Newton, you may begin.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I'm Bridget Donald Newton, Mayor of the City of Rockville, and I'd like to thank President Hucker and members of the County Council for the opportunity to provide testimony on Montgomery County's Comprehensive Solid Waste Management Plan. We thank the county for your continued leadership in sustainable waste management. Rockville is the largest jurisdiction in the county to provide essential recycling and refuse collection services for more than 14,000 homes with city staff. Therefore, the county's long-term plan has profound impacts on our services and our budget. Rockville is the largest jurisdiction in the county to provide essential recycling and refuse collection services for more than 14,000, the City of Rockville has submitted written testimony with more detailed comments. Today, I'd like to highlight our concerns that the long-term plan does not adequately factor in municipal challenges in two specific areas, recycling and composting. First, the plan fails to disclose that the county is not currently meeting the recycling processing service needs of municipalities and does not identify options to mitigate the impacts of these constraints. While Rockville currently uses a private recycling processing facility, we have repeatedly requested access to the county's facility in Durwood to process our residential recycling. We had several meetings and submitted annual tonnage data. However, the county repeatedly denied the city access due to capacity constraints. Secondly, the city submitted a letter to the County Council in 2016 requesting that we be included in food waste composting strategic planning efforts. While Rockville has long promoted backyard composting, our residents continually request food waste composting options. We are not able to provide this service due to economic and operating constraints associated with the lack of local processing options in the county. We request the plan broaden this approach to offer access to food waste composting infrastructure to serve municipalities in the county. Ideally, the county's food waste composting program would be as economically feasible and easily accessible as the county's current yard trim composting program. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today.
Thank you for your testimony. Our next speaker is Neil Seldman. Mr. Seldman, you will have 2 minutes for your testimony and you may begin when you're ready.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity to present. I think the solid waste management plan addresses many issues. It does not fully address the issue of pay-as-you-throw or unit pricing for solid waste collection from households. This technology, shorthand is pay-as-you-throw, PAYT, has worked effectively throughout the country. In general, a community can get to 40% reduction of its solid waste stream within 1 to 2 years. The policy has been used across the country, most recently in New Windsor in Carroll County, where the pilot was successful by reducing the waste stream by 43%, and the savings extrapolated to the entire county would have wiped out the current deficit for solid waste management funding in that county of over $1 million. It is a tried and true technique. There are many, many very capable consultants who can help the county. The start of the project would be a pilot program. These are very inexpensive, and the pilots are important for gathering data on the operation of the program, as well as making the community very comfortable, the households very comfortable. Accommodations can be made for low-income people who may not be able to provide services, and the experience from around the country is available to the county. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much for your testimony. Our next speaker will be Deborah Cohn. Ms. Cohn, you have 2 minutes for your testimony, and you may begin whenever you're ready. Are you there, Ms. Cohn?
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. I just had
That's okay.
turning
No,
on the video was different than I expected.
no worries. You may
Okay.
begin whenever you're ready.
I appreciate the opportunity to testify on the construction and demolition waste provisions of the Solid Waste Management Plan. I support the plan with amendments. Laudably, the plan calls for deposit programs to induce developers to comply with the current 50% diversion requirement and supporting development of new markets for C&D materials. The county, however, can do more. First, the county should increase the diversion requirement, starting this spring with 60% in the revised commercial building code and gradually increasing to 75 to 80%. Signaling higher required rates in the plan will spur development of a salvage materials market, and growth of this market will permit higher diversion rates as are currently required in several other jurisdictions. Second, the plan should encourage deconstruction and salvage of materials over demolition. The county should help develop private sector salvage and reuse markets because achieving higher diversion rates requires these markets. The plan should include these 3 steps. First, the county should work with construction and salvage entities to create 2 interactive web-based markets for salvage materials, one for large buyers and sellers, another for small businesses and homeowners. Second, because deconstruction requires more skill than demolition, the plan should include working with the construction industry, nonprofits, MCPS, and Montgomery College to develop inexpensive, flexible training to create this skilled workforce. This will permit demolition companies and workers to compete in the deconstruction market. Third, the plan should call for development of a resource recovery park and not just mention it as an if and when item. An RRP could provide low-cost space and other support to encourage entrepreneurs to develop new uses for salvage material, co-locate nonprofits in the salvage materials market, and allow small construction companies to aggregate sufficient quantities of salvage material to participate in the resale market. I thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for your testimony. Our next speaker will be Lauren Greenberger. Ms. Greenberger, you will also have 2 minutes for your testimony, and you may begin as soon as you are ready.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon. I am here to challenge you to choose a better solution for how we dispose of our trash. According to the EPA, our incinerator emits over 600,000 tons of greenhouse gases and toxic substances that affect our health. It is old and will require $70 million in capital costs just to keep it open for the next 20 years. It also will require $95 million to bring it up to the modern standards that any new incinerator would be required to meet. And at the end of 20 years, we will have no solution for our trash. The better choice is to close the incinerator now and start trucking our trash to an out-of-state, well-managed landfill that has good methane capture and is in a remote area that does not harm the local population. This will cut our greenhouse gas emissions in half and will have minimal capital costs. Analysis shows that trucking is only marginally more polluting than rail haul, but far more nimble and less expensive. The fees will be no more than what we're spending on the incinerator and far less when you include capital costs. Also, we can stop dumping toxic ash on a majority Black community in Virginia immediately. As we reduce volume through zero waste, our costs will continually go down. This is a win for the community and a huge political win for the County Council. We stop emitting greenhouse gases and toxic pollutants. And with the closure of the incinerator, we can build out the Dickerson composting facility for large-scale residential food composting. This gives us a forever sustainable solution for our trash. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. Our next speaker will be Heather Bruskin. Ms. Bruskin, there will be 2 minutes for your testimony, and you may begin as soon as you're ready.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. Thank you, Council President Hucker and all the members of our County Council for your leadership and the opportunity to testify today. My name is Heather Bruskin, and I'm the Executive Director of the Montgomery County Food Council. The Food Council's Environmental Impact Working Group played a significant role in the development of the county's strategic plan to advance composting and compost use, as well as the draft Climate Action Plan. We're pleased to see the inclusion of many of the composting strategic plan's recommendations in the county's new comprehensive solid waste management plan. That CSWMP identifies over 124,000 tons of food scraps disposed of each year in Montgomery County. A significant proportion of this waste can be prevented by increasing food donations and other strategies that recover food safe for human consumption to simultaneously reduce food waste and food insecurity. Any remaining food scraps should be composted, ideally locally, and used as a soil amendment to benefit food production, soil health, and climate change solutions. We encourage the county to develop a robust composting infrastructure and countywide food scraps collection program. Resident and commercial access to convenient composting options that deploy best practices, such as well-managed backyard, community, on-site, and on-farm composting should be increased. We applaud the passage of ZTA 2004 earlier this year, an important step to increasing on-farm capacity for food waste composting, and we encourage the council to revisit the other zoning ordinances and county codes identified in that strategic plan that may need to be addressed in order.
Mr. Gershman, you will have 2 minutes for your testimony, and you may begin as soon as you're ready.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Thank you. I am a county resident for almost 40 years and a retired nationally recognized solid waste management consultant. After following your zero waste planning efforts, I sent my thoughts to Adam Ortiz, your director of DEP. I will highlight a few that will make the county system better, more sustainable, and reduce its carbon footprint. Subdistrict B households need residential trash collection services. Over 65% of the county's households are there. Montgomery is the only major county in Maryland not providing contracted residential services throughout. Households there now select and contract, resulting in several contractors on the same streets, the same days, several times per week, resulting in higher charges and a significant carbon footprint impact. The county's recycling center needs to be replaced with the latest technology on a new site, preferably next to the Shady Grove transfer station. The old recycling center could continue as an education center and also be repurposed for increased diversion of bulky waste, creating added supplies for nonprofit organizations and skilled job training and employment opportunities for adults and with learning differences. Food scraps are the largest untapped recyclable. The county's Dickerson infrastructure should be modified to receive new flows. Your operator has experience doing this. Your resource recovery facility is one of the best facilities in the United States. Past health risk assessments have concluded there are no measurable influences on ambient air concentrations from its emissions. Ending its operations in 2026 should be reevaluated with a focus on carbon footprint of a system with a resource recovery facility as compared to one with a distant out-of-county landfill. Sending non-recyclable waste to a landfill is like burying barrels of oil. Our trash bins should be renamed fuel bins. Thank you and be safe.
Thank you for your testimony. Our next speaker is Amy Marin. Ms. Marin, you can begin your testimony when you're ready, and you will have 2 minutes.
Good afternoon, council members. The Sierra Club Montgomery County Group is pleased to provide our views on the solid waste management plan. While we're concerned that the plan does not include a clear path to close the trash incinerator in Dickerson, we hope that the county will update the plan after thoroughly reviewing more environmentally responsible waste reduction strategies. The plan does contain multiple program changes which we strongly support, including adding the residential properties in Subdistrict B into the county's overall waste collection system, targeting additional materials for recycling such as textiles, electronics, mattresses, and carpets, and banning additional materials that are just not recyclable, such as single-use plastic bags. We support the county's plan to develop the existing materials recovery facility, or MRF, into a 21st century resource recovery park. A redesigned MRF will enable the sorting and processing of greater numbers of recycled materials. The park could bring in job-creating businesses to help process hard-to-recycle materials into new products. We're pleased to have been consulted by DEP officials about how to shape a residential organics collection program. We support the pilot curbside food scrap collection program being developed, but to make even greater strides in waste reduction, we recommend that this pilot also include a transition to a pay-as-you-throw system, as described by Mr. Seldman. As cities of all sizes all over the country have found, charging the same rate for trash collection to every household does not disincentivize waste. Once residents participating in the pilot remove their leftovers, food scraps, non-recyclable food paper like pizza boxes, napkins, and paper towels by placing them in the organics bin, they'll discover that there's very little trash remaining, usually just bits of plastic packaging. Because the pilot would drastically reduce the non-organic waste, it should incorporate every other week trash collection. Participants should have the option of using one of 3 different sizes of trash carts. For the pilot to gain broad acceptance in the county, residents in the pilot need to see that the less trash they produce, the smaller the cart that they will need, and the less they'll ultimately pay. Finally,
I'm so sorry to interrupt, but your time is up. Thank you for your testimony. Mr. President, that wraps up the speakers for this public hearing.
Thank you, Ms. Kennedy. Thanks to all our speakers. This public hearing is now closed. Now the council will sit, well, I'm sorry. Getting ahead of myself. I should have mentioned persons wishing to submit additional testimony for this public hearing should do so before the close of business tomorrow, March 17th. The next hearing is on the adoption of a comprehensive solid waste management plan 2020 to 29. Ms. Kennedy, my understanding is there's no speakers for this public hearing?
That was number 8, declaration of no further need, disposition of Halpine View property, number 8.
Oh, beg your pardon. Yes.
Yes, no speakers for that one.
Okay, thank you. So this public hearing is now closed. The next public hearing is a transfer of unexpended project balance within the FY21 capital budget and amendment to the FY21 to 26 capital improvements program for Montgomery County Public Schools in the amount of $3,182,226 to MCPS local unliquidated surplus. Councilmember Rice.
Oh, no, Mr. President, at the end, once the hearing is closed, we have action.
Gotcha. So this hearing is now closed. Ms. Kennedy, I understand there's no speakers, correct?
Correct.
Thank you. This hearing is now closed. Councilmember Rice.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I'd like to move that we approve the transfer of the unexpended project balance of $3,182,226 to the MCPS, a local unliquidated surplus.
Terrific. Is there a second?
Second.
Councilmember Katz seconds. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Great, that is unanimous. That is item 9. Item 10. This is a public hearing on a supplemental appropriation. A transfer of unexpended project balance within the FY21 capital budget and amendments to the FY21 to 26 capital improvements program for Montgomery County Public Schools in the amount of $3,182,226 to Gaithersburg Cluster Elementary School number 8. Action scheduled immediately following this public hearing. I understand there's no speakers. Mr. Rice, do you want to move this as well?
Yes, Mr. President, I'd like to move a transfer of the unexpended project balance within the FY21 capital budget in the amount of $3,182,226 to Gaithersburg Cluster Elementary School number 8.
Terrific. Councilmember Cass, our local district council member, seconds the motion. All those in favor, please raise your hand. That is unanimous as well. Thank you. Item number 10. This is a public hearing on a supplemental appropriation to the county government's FY21 operating budget for the Department of Police, Department of Correction and Rehabilitation, Sheriff's Office, and the State's Attorney's Office in the amount of $264,568 for the Governor's Office of Crime Control and Prevention, Bureau of Justice Assistance, Burn Coronavirus Emergency Supplemental Grant Funding. Action is scheduled immediately following this hearing as well. There are no speakers, Ms. Kennedy?
That's correct.
Councilmember Katz?
Thank you, Mr. President. Also, this is item 11. I don't think you said item 10, but it's item 11, and I move that we approve it.
Yes, thank you. Thanks for the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilmember Navarro. Seconds. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Great, thank you. That is unanimous. Next is a public hearing on a supplemental appropriation to the county government's FY21 capital budget and amendment to the FY21 to 26 capital improvements program for the Department of Transportation in the amount of $472,000 for intelligent transit system. Action is scheduled immediately following this public hearing as well. Ms. Kennedy, there are no speakers?
That's correct, no speakers.
Okay, can I get a motion, please? Councilmember Katz moves.
So move.
Second.
Councilmember Reamer seconds. All those in favor of this supplemental appropriation as well, please raise your hand. That is unanimous. Thank you, Dr. Orlin. Your presence intimidated everyone. There are no questions. Now the council will sit as the district council. Let me recognize analysts Livu and Du to walk us through the district council session. I think you might be muted, Livu.
Sorry about that. Good afternoon, council members. So this is for additions to OZA's comprehensive fee schedule. As you all know, the council adopted ZTA 2001, which allowed solar collection systems as a conditional use in the ag reserve. That was adopted on February 23rd, and it actually became effective yesterday. But in order to get it up and running, a resolution is needed to amend the fee schedule. So OZA proposes an $8,200 application fee. This number actually just mirrors the application fee for agricultural processing, which includes things like milk plants, grain elevators, mulch and compost production, and agricultural manufacturing.
Terrific. Councilmember Reamer, do you have comments on this at all?
Apologies, I was just answering a text. Is this the introduction or is this ZTA 2006?
This is the introduction.
Okay, so I don't think we need to comment on the introduction.
Things are a little out of order on here today. Okay, yes, we don't need to comment on the introduction. Thank you. Without objection, that addition is that is introduced. Livu, do you want to tell us about the ZTA?
Yes. So ZTA 2006, what it does is it's for surface parking in a residential zone. This ZTA would allow an applicant to choose planning board approval of a site plan rather than having to go through both the site plan review process and the special exception process. So the reason this came about is before the zoning code rewrite in 2014, surface parking in a residential zone that was part of a commercial use was a special exception. And special exceptions are now what we call conditional uses. So back then it was common to create a split zone property or rezone only part of it to limit the size of commercial development. After the zoning code was rewritten, this is all now different. So under the current code, if a project needs any type of change that originally had the parking approved as a conditional use, it would have to go through both site plan and conditional use. So this CTA would basically allow the applicant to say, I'm just going to do the site plan review rather than having to go through both processes. So it streamlines the whole thing. Most of the properties have been changed via sectional map amendments. So this is only going to apply to about 24 or 25 different properties. We had the public hearing for this on January 19th, 2021. There was no testimony in opposition and one speaker testified in support. And planning also testified in support. And then on March 10th, the Fed committee unanimously recommended approval as well. There are two suggested amendments. The first is that this provision should apply whether or not a sketch plan is required. So the language basically moves down one line so that it would apply basically across the board. And then also the word parking setback was changed to parking layout so that it applies to the whole development, which gives a more holistic review. And because under site plan review, they look at things such as landscaping and edging and other site plan review standards. So basically, in short, this CTA would streamline the process for getting surface parking in a residential zone where it's tied to commercial use by not making applicants go through two different processes with similar but slightly different rules.
Very well described. Let me call on the chair of the Fed committee.
I definitely cannot improve upon that. So, I could repeat it just because sometimes it's helpful, but I don't think I will. This is very straightforward. I thought Livu explained it very clearly. Thank you.
Okay, can I get a motion?
It's a committee recommendation, right? So we don't really need it.
We do. We have a committee recommendation. Yeah. It's been very well described. Can I, all those in favor of this CTA, please raise your hand.
Mr. President, this is a
roll call. Beg your pardon. I was on a roll there. No pun intended. Please.
A roll, but not a roll call.
Mr. Glass.
Yes.
Mr. Glass votes yes. Mr. Duando.
Yes.
Mr. Duando votes yes. Mr. Reamer.
Yes.
Mr. Reamer votes yes. Mr. Katz.
Yes.
Mr. Katz votes yes. Mr. Varro.
Yes.
Mr. Varro votes yes. Mr. Rice.
Yes.
Mr. Rice votes yes. Mr. Friedson.
Yes.
Mr. Friedson votes yes. Mr. Albornoz.
Yes.
Mr. Albornoz votes yes. Mr. Hucker.
Yes.
Mr. Hucker votes yes.
Terrific. The ZTA passes unanimously. Thanks to that recommendation from the powerful Fed committee. Now we'll have legislative day 8, introduction of bills. The first is expedited bill 1221, personnel employees retirement system, retirement savings plan group trust amendments. Lead sponsor is the council president at the request of the county executive. Mr. Drummer, do you have a comment?
No, I was just going to say this bill is mostly about conforming the retirement law to federal changes. It makes a couple of other changes. It creates authority for the board to have a new type of investment for people in the defined contribution plan. And it also makes some changes in procedures in how distributions are made pursuant to federal law.
Terrific. Thank you. So without objection, that is introduced. And then expedited bill 1321, streets and roads, permit to obstruct rights, public rights of way and franchising amendments. Lead sponsor is again, council president at the request of the county executive. Mr. Drummer, any comment on this?
No, I don't. It's Ms. McCartney Green's bill, but if you'd like an explanation. But...
I didn't want to infer anything from your...
No, it's okay.
Okay. That's terrific. Thank you. Without objection, those two are introduced. Then we can move on to the call of bill for final reading. Bill 3719, the Economic Development Fund, use of fund and remedies for non-compliance. Let me call on the chair of the powerful Fed committee. I think you might be muted.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. So first of all, this legislation was brought to us by Councilmember Glass. He may wish to make a few remarks, but we worked through some administrative issues. A big piece of this legislation seeks to put additional protections into the Economic Development Fund grant making process, just for purposes of compliance and ensuring taxpayer concerns are part of the process. There were some challenging administrative issues that we had to address, and working with finance, Councilmember Glass had recommendations, and a committee, we figured out how to kind of put it all together in a way that finance feels is workable. So that was about half of the ordinance relating to those provisions. Then the second issue is sort of a policy issue that we grappled with, which was a very interesting idea about how to build on our SBIR program. As you know, there is a federal grant called SBIR that is provided through federal agencies, and a lot of businesses in Montgomery County get SBIRs, particularly in the life sciences space. But there are SBIRs in defense and energy and you name it. Probably almost every agency has SBIRs one way or the other. And the pool of applicants for SBIR funding matches vastly exceeds the amount of money that we have. But this is one of our really clever programs to support our budding life science entrepreneurs. Councilmember Leventhal introduced this legislation 3 years ago, and we've added funding, including at this county council, we've added funding for the purpose of expanding the program. So we kind of wrestled with whether we could broaden the agencies that would, for which the SBIR match would apply. But the challenge is the funding that we have would quickly be overwhelmed, and the program itself would lose a lot of its certainty. So we decided that we would recommend expanding the agencies, but restricting the purpose continuing to life sciences. That way, if there is a Department of Defense SBIR that's a life sciences opportunity, it would be eligible, but it would still be focused in on one of our strengths. And that leaves room for creative thinking and thinking about ways to expand on this program. We are working on this issue at Fed, kind of in parallel, about how we can help entrepreneurs in their continuum of SBIR application work. And there's different stages to the SBIR program, and we want to look further and figure out at what points do we want to maybe realign some of the support that we provide. So that is still kind of pending, but this bill here, I think, helpfully puts in these protections, and then also, while keeping focused on life sciences, opens up the possibilities to other SBIR grantees that we would want to also be potentially eligible. And hopefully, we'll be able to give this a deeper dive in the budget, and maybe even add some funding this year. So that's the committee report, and I'll turn it back to you, Council President, and again, perhaps the bill sponsor wants to share some comments.
I think he does. Councilmember Glass.
I appreciate that. Thank you, President Hucker, and Committee Chair Reamer for that very accurate description. And quite frankly, little did I know that when I introduced this bill back in December of 2019, that a few months later we would be facing a global pandemic. And as all of us have really tried to adapt, I'm proud of the work that county government, county council, and all of our agencies and department have done to keep our residents healthy and safe. But it also needs to be said that we have so many of our own residents and constituents who have been doing that work in other ways as well. And it was almost a year ago, it was March 12th of 2020 when I had what was essentially my last formal meeting, and I know that Chair Reamer was there as well, talking about this piece of legislation with medical professionals, scientific experts here in the county about this bill and how it could help their work in advancing medical and scientific breakthroughs. Because, our community is home to the brightest minds, from those who work at NIH and FDA and HHS and even Novavax and a host of other private companies. The thousands of employees who live and work here in Montgomery County have really helped propel us to get to where we are today, particularly with the COVID-19 pandemic. And, with what I hope will be the passage of this bill in a few minutes, the Oversight and Small Business Investment Act, we are ready to help even more entrepreneurs who receive federal grants from the Small Business Innovation Research and also the Small Business Technology Transfer Grant Program, so that they can continue doing their R&D work here in Montgomery County. And that work is going to be applicable for the life sciences, biotech, and medical sectors. As was said, it was limited to those just working in NIH, but now it will be expanded to those doing that type of innovative, important work in 12 different federal agencies that support R&D in the life sciences, biotech, and medical sectors. And some of those agencies include the Department of Energy, Department of Defense, and even Department of Agriculture. And the second component of this piece of legislation, when it was originally introduced, was in direct response to an Office of Inspector General report, which identified the lack of formal contracts and agreements in the SBIR and STTR programs. And so now this legislation will require beneficiaries of those programs to enter into written agreements with the county so that we can better protect taxpayer resources, investments into these companies for the public good. I'll end by expressing my appreciation for the Department of Finance, who had already begun that work to shore up the contracts and worked with me and members of the Fed committee to codify this into law. I think the codification is a really important detail there. And I also want to thank the Fed committee members for supporting the legislation, and particularly the original co-sponsors, Chair Reamer and Councilmember Jawando. And then finally, I want to give a hearty thank you to my Chief of Staff, Valeria Carranza, and my Legislative Assistant, Bianca Laura, for their comprehensive work on this piece of legislation. So thank you very much, and I yield back.
Thank you. I don't see any other requests to speak. So we have a committee recommendation to enact this bill with amendments. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Oh, roll call vote, sorry.
Mr. Glass?
Yes.
Mr. Glass votes yes. Mr. Jawando?
Yes.
Mr. Jawando votes yes. Mr. Reamer?
Yes.
Mr. Reamer votes yes. Mr. Katz?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Ms. Navarro?
Yes.
Ms. Navarro votes yes. Mr. Rice?
Yes.
Mr. Rice votes yes. Mr. Friesen?
Yes.
Mr. Friesen votes yes. Mr. Albornoz?
Yes.
Mr. Albornoz votes yes. Mr. Hooker?
Yes.
Mr. Hooker votes yes.
Bill passes unanimously. Congratulations. Next bill is Bill 621, Finance Revenue Estimating Group established. The GO Committee recommends enactment with amendments. Let me call on the chair, the powerful GO Committee.
Thank you, Mr. President. This bill, Bill 6-21, has the lead sponsor, Councilmember Friesen, co-sponsors, Councilmembers Navarro and Katz. This was introduced in February 2nd, and it was a public hearing on February 23rd. We did hear from the finance director, Mr. Mike Hovey, on behalf of the county executive. Also, the Miami County Chamber of Commerce submitted written testimony in support of the bill. The bill will establish a revenue estimating group which would forecast and review county revenues. It also provides for membership, duties, and structure. It is modeled on a state-level entity, the Consensus Revenue Monitoring and Forecasting Group. The chair would be the finance director or finance director's representative. The group would present reports quarterly and would consist of staff members from Finance, the Office of Management and Budget, Council Central Staff, Office of Legislative Oversight, and also CAO staff. The GO Committee met on March 8th and approved 3-0 the bill with the following amendments. Change the chair from the CAO's representative to the Finance Director or the Director's representative. Add OMB Director to provide staff along with Finance staff. Add a statement that the executive must use the group's revenue estimates as a basis of the executive's recommended operating budget, and remove the requirement that the group perform studies, recognizing that that particular kind of assignment doesn't necessarily reside with the group, but the group can obviously access different other types of capacities to review studies. That is what the GO Committee adopted. I am going to actually defer to the sponsor to explain why it was necessary to bring this bill, why this will actually help the county move forward, especially in light of all the work that we've done with fiscal policies and things of that nature, and why this was important. So I'm going to defer to Councilmember Friedson, and then of course Mr. Drummer, as usually staff does on this bill, and if there are any other questions or things to clarify, then perhaps he can do that after Councilmember Friedson speaks. Turn it to you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I want to thank you for your leadership, not just on this bill, but on government operations and fiscal policy matters for many, many years. And to Councilmember Katz, this really was a committee effort and really builds on the work that the committee has done to both strengthen our fiscal policies, but just as much to strengthen our fiscal practices and processes. And this really is part of both. And it builds on a very successful model at the state level that several colleagues are very familiar with, particularly Council Members Hucker and Rice, Council President Hucker, excuse me, and Rice, which is a consensus revenue monitoring and forecasting group that includes the legislative branch, the Comptroller's Office, the Treasurer's Office, the Office of Management and Budget, and the Governor's team to come up with consensus estimates on the front end to take the politics out of revenue estimating and to have as many voices in the room in the beginning so that once the budget process starts, everybody is already in agreement, understands where it has come from. It is based on expertise and on consensus. And that's really what this is. I will note the fact that the executive branch has been working closely with council staff over the recent years, and this has really improved, and this will really just build upon a lot of those efforts. The idea here is to increase accuracy and usefulness of estimates, which is really at the heart of what we do. It's timely given the fact that we just received the budget yesterday and are really in the heart of this most important responsibility and obligation that we have, and it will improve collaboration and confidence in the revenue estimates even earlier in the process. The fact that we have widespread support, I appreciate the fact that Director Covey, Director Bryant, the CAO, Mr. Madalino, worked with us to make sure that this accomplished what we wanted. But this is just one in a series of efforts that the GO and Fiscal Policy Committee, in particular the Council as a body, has worked on to strengthen our fiscal policies and to approve our financial practices so that we're modeling the best practices from the state and from around the country, and showing that Montgomery County can and should be a leader on these issues. So with that, this is a consensus bill for consensus revenue estimates, which I hope will close out what has been among the most consensus council sessions I can recall, which I appreciate, and look forward to unanimous support of colleagues, and very appreciative of the ongoing and continued support of the executive branch on this issue, and Mr. Drummer in particular with council staff, who's really been helpful, as well as Mr. Gene Smith. Thank you, Mr. President.
Well, with that,
Mr. President, let me just Mr. President, let me just add before we turn to Mr. Drummer to see if there is anything else that we left out. Let me add that this is definitely a very important best practice. I know that for the millions watching at home, perhaps this is a bit of a simple, maybe boring administrative sort of fix, but it's so central to the work that we do every year when it comes to our budget. And I think it is so important not to underestimate the impact that something like this has with not only the expectations of our residents, our partners, but also for this body who ultimately has to adopt a structurally balanced budget to go into this deliberation understanding that everybody is pretty much on the same page with regards to revenue estimates. And there's no doubt that in my many years of serving on the council, there have been years when it's been smooth sailing in this area, and there have been other years where it's been just very difficult. So I very much appreciate Councilmember Friedson, stepping up with this proposal, and of course Councilmember Katz for supporting this and working, diligently in our committee to get this going. And as Councilmember Friedson said, the collaboration with the administration, finance, ONB, the CAO, to really, remove this variable, if you will, so that our budget deliberations and our budget processes every year could be hopefully a much more seamless experience. So with that, I don't know, Mr. Drummer, if you have anything else that we missed.
No, I don't have anything else. I think everybody here has been explained very well.
Great.
Wonderful. All right. Councilmember Albornoz.
Thanks. I'll just say in 30 seconds or less, bills like this don't get as much attention as some of the other hot button issues that we focus on, but these are really important. And I really appreciate the GO committee's leadership and Councilmember Friedson's, especially in the collaboration with the executive branch, because we're always striving to tighten the systems that we currently have. I've seen it on both sides, as you guys know. And I think this is important. And so it does demonstrate a lot of progress, and I really appreciate the effort.
Excellent. Okay, with that, can we call the roll, please?
Mr. Klaus.
Yes.
Mr. Klaus votes yes. Mr. Tawanda.
Yes.
Mr. Tawanda votes yes. Mr. Reamer.
Yes.
Mr. Reamer votes yes. Mr. Katz.
Yes.
Mr. Katz votes yes. Mr. Varro.
Yes.
Mr. Varro votes yes. Mr. Rice.
Yes.
Mr. Rice votes yes. Mr. Friedson.
Yes.
Mr. Friedson votes yes. Ms. Albornoz.
Yes.
Mr. Albornoz votes yes. Mr. Hucker.
Yes.
Mr. Hucker votes yes.
Bill passes unanimously. Terrific. Thank you. Councilmember Tawanda.
Thank you, Mr. Hucker. I've been here 3 years. I still want to say aye every time we vote. So I'm gonna do it one day. I wanted to point out, and you are appropriately dressed too, sir. Tomorrow is St. Patrick's Day. I put on my green tie.
You can't see his shamrocks.
Yes. They're shamrocks. There we go. Yeah. There we go. And I just wanted to say we got caught up in sports and a whole bunch of stuff this morning. Just to everyone, to the millions watching at home, please, as our CDC director says, don't go out and do a party. Vice President just put on his mask. I went to Catholic Universities, which has a robust Irish studies program. I am well versed. I worked for Martin O'Malley. I'm well versed in the things that happen on St. Patrick's Day. But just eat your shepherd's pie and your cabbage and do it at home and do something outside and get tested. If you do have an outdoor gathering, get tested before and after. We don't want to have a spike. We saw those numbers earlier. So I just wanted to make that. I'm sure I speak for all of us. I just didn't want the day to pass and not say that. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilmember Tawanda. That's good to know. You stole some of my lines as the only, I think, dual Irish citizen here. I was going to make the same reminder, but now you can be the bearer of
bad news.
Absolutely. Councilmember.
You're a dual Irish citizen, is that right? That's cool.
If your grandparents came over, you can apply. Yes, it's true. So with that, everybody stay safe tomorrow. We are adjourned, and the GO committee and the T&E committee will meet jointly at 3 o'clock. Thank you all so much. Stay safe.